Welcome to the vendor training course, Identifying Mold and its Source. In this course, I will discuss the proper process for dealing with mold. Let's begin. When water stains and/or mold are found at a property, the first step is to identify the source of the water stain and the mold, which will always be some sort of water intrusion. The source can be a variety of things. Let's take a look at each source possibility. Source 1 is a roof leak. An active leak is any condition where the roof does not protect the interior of the dwelling by way of water intrusion, potential water intrusion, or where missing roof components jeopardize the functionality of the roof. You should walk the roof to see if there is an active roof leak. Check for missing shingles and/or leaking intrusions. Also, check the chimney area by inspecting the flashing and overall condition of the brick, mortar, clay, and cap. Search for signs of sunlight shining through the roof from within the attic. Source 2 is gutter damage or failure. Inspect the gutters to ensure that they are not clogged or filled with debris. Also, verify that they are draining away from the property. Check to see if any gutters or downspout sections are damaged or missing, and that all existing pieces are securely intact with the proper hardware. Source 3 is foundation or grading issues outside or water falling against the foundation. The ground near the property should be graded away from the structure. Get down on one knee and inspect the grade. If the property is not properly graded, water will flow towards the foundation. Source 4 is a structural issue. This means physical damage to load-bearing portions of the home where the dwelling becomes structurally unsound and causes a water intrusion. Take a look at the foundation for cracks, holes, separation, or caved-in areas. Then determine if these are load-bearing walls. Source 5 is a window leak. Examine the seals on the windows from the outside to ensure there are no gaps. Check the interior for water damage, wood, or gaps between the window and the wall. Make sure the windows open and close correctly and that the glass is intact. Source 6 is water seepage. This is caused when the ground surrounding the basement walls has become saturated with water by way of rain or melting snow and creates lateral pressure, forcing water through imperfections in the walls, or any other existing exterior forces pushing water in through the dwelling walls. Source 7 is sub pump failure. Verify that the sub pump is working properly by lifting the float with a non-conductive stick. Ensure the drainage line is draining correctly from the sub pump and going away from the house. Also, make sure the power to the sub pump is on. Source 8 is a clogged discharge or footer drain, such as the sewer, storm system, or septic tank. Lift the drain covers when possible and check to see that they are draining properly. They should be draining away from the structure. Source 9 is a plumbing leak. Inspect the entire plumbing system, including the hot water tank. Look for broken, cracked, or missing pipes, as well as missing water lines or fixtures. The proper cause of damage to the plumbing system must be determined, which could be, but is not limited to, mortgagee neglect or vandalism. Source 10 is wet hazards left at the property. Check the entire property for wet debris. Source 11 is seepage from the basement floor. This happens when a water table underneath a dwelling rises and forces water up through imperfections on the basement floors and foundation, causing leaks. Source 12 is a hot water tank leak or failure. The water tank should be checked for active leaks. Confirm it has been properly drained, if applicable, and determine if the storage tank has failed. Bids should be provided to replace when necessary. Source 13 is already existing mold. Existing mold can be treated to prevent the spread of additional mold. This should only occur when it appears the source of the mold has been properly addressed. However, the mold remains. Source 14 is lack of circulation or humidity. The property should be checked for proper airflow throughout all levels. This includes turning on appropriate HVAC units, installing a dehumidifier, or installing fans. It is important to note that humidity is rarely a cause of mold by itself. This is usually an indication of some sort of water intrusion. Now that you know the source, the water intrusion will need to be addressed. Check your work order to see if there's an allowable for this. If not, a bid should be placed to address the source of the water stain and/or the mold to prevent further damage. Please note that you should never leave a property with an active leak. Next, you must identify all areas where mold is present. First, define the location by marking the perimeter of the area with chalk. Second, mark the area with the date as well as the length and width of the mold growth. Photos will be required of this to verify the size of the mold area. After the mold areas are identified, you will define the surface type affected by the mold as absorbent or hard. An absorbent surface includes drywall, wood, cork, carpet, or ceiling tiles, while a hard surface would be cinder block, stone, concrete, tile, vinyl, or linoleum. If the water stain or mold is wet to the touch, check your work order to see if there's an allowable to remediate if a bid needs to be placed. All bids to remove the mold should be accompanied with a bid to replace the materials being removed. All water stain and mold bids can combine up to 2 parts, one for the affected absorbent surfaces and a second for the affected hard surfaces. These bids will be submitted to the investor at the same time, signifying that all must be completed in order to fully address the mold condition at the property. I hope you found this course helpful. To learn more about preserving properties, view our additional courses available.